What's up, guys? This is Nathan, ThatAlbumReviewerGuy here, and I'm going to be reviewing the new album from Muse. The album is called Drones. This is their 7th album, and on their past 2 albums, Muse experimented with orchestral and electronic music. And for this album, they kind of wanted to go back to the basics and have more of a straight-up rock sound with this album like they did with their early releases. I felt as though their last 2 albums were a little bit hit and miss. I like some songs more than others, but it is what it is. Drones is a concept album about the dehumanization of modern warfare. The story begins with Dead Inside, where the protagonist loses hope and becomes vulnerable to the dark forces of Psycho, and he eventually defects, revolts, and overcomes his enemies. Now let's take a look at this album from a musical standpoint, and I'm going to review this album track by track because I feel as though that's the best way to do it. The album opens up with the lead single Dead Inside. Well, I guess technically the first lead single. You know what I mean. Anyway, Dead Inside does feature some synthesizers, but it still feels like a solid rock song. And I like the lyricism on this track, as well as the instrumentation, and I especially like the drumming on this track, and the harmonization on the lyrics, Dead Inside, really puts the song over the top for me. The next track is called Drill Sergeant, but that's just the intro for Psycho, which was the first song released from the album. It was technically a promotional single, not really the lead single, but still played on radio and stuff, so it is what it is. Anyway, I like the riffs on this song. It sounds a bit heavier than your typical Muse song. The lyrics are a little corny, I'll admit, but the way they're presented makes up for that. However, I don't really like the fact that the Drill Sergeant carries over and kind of interrupts the flow of the song. I feel like this track could do without that. Then we get into Mercy, which is a much softer track than Psycho. This is another track that features electronic elements, but it has some nice guitar work as well. However, I feel as though this is a bit of a weak track. There are a couple elements that I like about this song, and I might come back to it every now and then, but it really doesn't do all that much for me. Next is Reapers, which opens with a killer riff right out of the starting gate. I really like the pacing of this song. It does have its faster moments, but it also slows down, just a little bit. Overall, it maintains a solid pace, and the guitar work is phenomenal, without a doubt. I can't think of a bad thing to say about this song. Next is The Handler, which also features some nice guitar work, and there's an echo effect used on the vocals a couple times during the song that I'm not all too fond of, but overall it's a solid track. And the next track is called JFK, which is just a clip of a speech given by John F. Kennedy, and it also features some backing instrumentals, as this track serves as the intro for the next track, Defector. There's a nice catchy riff being used throughout the song that's very easy for me to get behind. As for the vocals, they're not bad, but there's nothing stellar about them. This is another solid track in the album. Next we have Revolt. This song opens with a siren intro, which leads into a bit of a catchy and grooving verse. And throughout the album, I have been hearing a bit of a Queen influence. But in my opinion, it's stronger on this track than any other song on the album. This is a very catchy song that's easy to get into, and I love Matthew Bellamy's vocal performance on this track, even though his vocals are great on pretty much every Muse song. Then it's Aftermath. This is a very soft and melodic song. This is signaling the aftermath of the story being told throughout the album. I really like that symbolism, and for some reason this song makes me think of Our Lady Peace, and there's a guitar part that reminds me of something you might hear on a John Mayer song. I'm probably just talking out of my ass by saying that, but it's just something I thought about while listening to the song, so I figured I'd just put it out there. Overall, though, I really enjoyed the vibe of this song. It really gives off the feel of an aftermath, so it's safe to say that this song definitely served its purpose. The next track is The Globalist. This is the longest song in the album, clocking in at about 10 minutes, It's a nice progressive rock track that opens up with a Western-style whistling intro, which is pretty cool, and then that leads into more of an actual rock song. I feel like this song drags in a couple of spots, but it's definitely a solid track overall. I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites, but it's good. And finally, the album closes with the title track, Drones. The song is basically almost 3 minutes of Gregorian chants. It's an interesting and creative way to end the album, so I definitely have to give the band props for that. Overall, this is a very diverse album. Even though the band's sound is more rock-driven on this album than on their previous 2 records, there are still a bunch of different elements mixed in. There are progressive elements, electronic elements, couple metal elements, etc., etc. This album isn't perfect, but it's close. It does drag in a couple places on The Globalist, and Mercy is a little bit of a lackluster track, but this is a kick-ass album. I highly recommend it to everyone out there. Whether you're a Muse fan or not, you should check it out, pick it up, do what you do, what you do, what you do to me. If you get that reference, comment, and I will love you forever. Okay. Favorites: Dead Inside, Psycho, Reapers, Revolt, and Aftermath. The only least favorite I have is Mercy, and I already explained why. But overall, the album gets a 9 out of 10. It is, without a doubt, a solid release from Muse. I love this album, and hopefully you guys do too. Well, that's what I have to say. What did you guys think of the album? What do you think of Muse? What's your favorite Muse album? Let me know down there. And in the description, you'll find my social media stuff. You can ask me a question on AskFM. Follow me on Tumblr. Like me on Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe, please, for new content. I have reviews of the new Of Monsters and Men album and the new Tremonti album coming up real soon. And in the near future, reviews of a new Third Eye Blind album, Breaking Benjamin, Senses Fail, and more stuff in the future. Alright, so that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. That Album Reviewer Guy signing off.